Hey guys, thanks for joining me in this special video. So we all knew that Amazon was going to be launching their own cell phone. There was a whole bunch of leaks and everything. And pretty much it was going to be because, Amazon's content is where they're making their money. So why wouldn't they release a smartphone so people can enjoy it, the content anywhere and everywhere instead of just using those Kindles? I wasn't a fan of the Kindles. I'm still not a fan of the Kindles. Kindles should just be for reading. I don't think I need a tablet-like form the way they have the Kindles, Kindle Fire HD and all that kind of stuff. You can just get a phone and put the Kindle app on there. Nonetheless, they released a nice looking cell phone. The launch was earlier today. If you didn't hear anything about it, it's got a 13 megapixel camera. It's got a quad-core processor clocked at 2.2 gigahertz, 2 gigs of RAM, a 4.7-inch HD display. So let's look over here at the actual, and this is some letter from, Jeff Bezos or whatever. But here's the actual specs. It's got a 720 display. This thing weighs 160 grams. Now, this only has a 4.7-inch display. The dimensions, though, I don't know how and why it weighs so much. But let me put it next to something that's equivalent. The Moto X. Let's see if we can find that. There we go. Moto X has a 4.7-inch display. And look at how much the Moto X weighs. This is going to be a long phone, it looks like, compared to some other devices that have the same display, pretty much almost the same technology. This thing weighs 160 grams. Now let's bring up a phone that weighs about the same as that. And that would be the Note 3. The Note 3 weighs 166 grams, or 68. This weighs 160. And this has a smaller display, doesn't have all the technologies of some of the higher end devices as far as the screen resolution and things like that, and processor. But it's kind of amazing that this phone weighs so much and it has such a small display, and this should be a small device, but for it's going to be a long phone. And I'm not just bashing the device. I think it's actually cool that they actually brought out a phone, but the bad part and the horrible downside of it is the price. Wow, this thing is very expensive. You can pre-order it right now, and two things that make it bad. Two things that make it bad: the pricing, $650, and the company that they partnered with, AT&T. Unfortunately, they didn't bring this phone to T-Mobile. Now, I wasn't looking to purchase this phone. This is a pretty stellar device. It's going to do well because it has the Amazon App Store, and they have all the same apps pretty much as Android, and they actually give one away free every day. But the bad part is, once again, it's with AT&T. Their pricing is horrible. Their network is not the greatest nowadays, and just the experience I think that they're going to get by partnering with AT&T is not going to be the greatest. The phone is way too high for what it's offering, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. You sound off in the comments if you like, but for $650 at full cost, that's pretty steep. And it comes with 32 gigs, but so what? There's a 64 gig, and I believe that one's even that one's $750 and $300 if you do a 2-year contract. Those are horrible prices for this device. This device, if Amazon was smart, they would have sold it off contract. Their specs don't even measure up to the Nexus line, and the Nexus 5 is a much better appealing device. I wouldn't even say that device measures up as far as specs as far as the Nexus 4. I would get the Nexus 4 over this Amazon Fire phone. For what they're asking for, you can run over and get you a Nexus 5 for $350 or $399, full price, unlocked, no contract for a 32 gig. They want $650 for the 32 gig, which is just ridiculous. And then you compare these specs, you're just getting so much more. Again, this device is such a heavy device for it to be what it is. And it doesn't have a 1080p display. It's a lot thicker than some of the other devices that are in the same categories, so to speak, and it weighs a heck of a lot more. There are some great things about the device, but I still think that at $650, it's got to be a joke. I don't like to say that devices are going to flop, but this one in particular is probably going to hit that bracket where they start to discount phones immediately. That is probably where this one is going to go. This is going to go into that discount bin. It's just almost not realistic. Let me scroll down here so you can kind of see. Let me go back to Amazon, the actual front. Well, I'll do it from here. You know what? I'll go back so you can see that front video that they have up here. If you haven't seen anything about it. Oh, it takes me over here. Oh, here we go.
Check it out.
Yeah, this is neat. This is really neat.
When I turn it, it moves.
Whoa.
It's kind of like I'm looking at a different world when I'm just looking at the lock screen.
Oh, that's cool.
Dynamic perspective reflects the way that we interact with the world naturally.
The device feels more attached to the environment that you're in and how you hold it and how you move.
The dynamic perspective was different than anything I'd seen before.
The maps, by far, is my favorite feature because I'm always getting lost.
The maps was really cool. You could look around the city from different angles.
It shows more perspective, it seems like. I would feel like I know my way around a little bit better with this.
This is going to change the way I get places.
I love the maps where it shows the Yelp reviews.
I found that really handy because when I'm in a pinch and want to just go out to dinner somewhere quick and look around the area, it's just nice to do that.
I moved a lot more than I usually do while I'm playing games on my phone. I felt really engaged, like I was actually snowboarding.
I did enjoy having the ability to just control the phone just by tilting it.
I like one-handed navigation because it's more natural feeling.
With, the flick of your wrist, you can get an additional menu.
You just flip your phone, and then there are the pictures, and then you send it.
I really love the auto-scrolling.
I have a 1-year-old, so I kind of live my life with one hand. So being able to just auto scroll through something without having to use both hands is so amazing.
So I'm not going to torch you. I shouldn't say torch. I'm not going to. You can watch that on Amazon.com if you want to see that. But just this phone itself, partnering only with AT&T is the first plus or the first downside that they've done. They get a minus for that. Then the pricing, they get a minus for this. There's just too many other devices out there that can offer you so much more, and that you can buy them at the same price, and you pretty much, you get more. I'm definitely not a fan of the pricing of the device. It looks like a cool device. I hate that they went with AT&T as their premier partner, but that pricing, I know some of you guys agree this is not going to sell for $750 and $650. $300 on contract for this is ridiculous. That's how I feel about the Amazon Fire. I think a more detailed look at the specs here, you can see that it has LTE for the T-Mobile network, the AT&T network, unlocked. If you get this unlocked, you can work pretty much anywhere. But it's got a 720 display, 4.7 inches. 3D dynamic perspective. That's what everyone's kind of going crazy about. Gorilla Glass on the front and the back, and it has a rubber innard, I guess for gripping. It does have stereo speakers, 64 or 32, 2 gigs of RAM, LTE, 13 megapixel camera. Those are things that, they're pretty much on all smartphones now. A Snapdragon 800, 2.2, 330 Adreno, that's pretty much it. And it's only got a 2400 milliamp battery. So how do you think this phone is going to do? As you can see here, it's not doing too well today, and today's the launch day. People aren't really interested in it, probably once they saw the price and that they were only partnering with AT&T, which sucks. John Ledger from T-Mobile had some words about that. And I kind of agree with them. I think it's stupid that some of these people partner up with just one company because they limit themselves to what they could possibly get. So that's my take on it. T-Mobile's getting ready to speaking of T-Mobile, they're getting ready to have Uncarrier 5 today. So check that out. You can watch it live stream of that. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. The Amazon Fire phone, not too much on fire. It probably won't be on fire once those prices, and I don't think the pre-order thing is going to work because this is just way too expensive for what it's trying to bring to the market. See you guys in the next video. This is Jay Will. Take care.